So, you can take this out. My balls are a little hot, so I put this fan on. So, can you hear that on the feed, or?
No, but I'm going to write that
Okay.
down and see if I can get away with it for a title.
Because my balls are hot?
Yeah.
I sit down, and I was like, God, my nuts are a little... I'm going to turn this fan on because it's right at waist height. I'll just cool off for a few minutes while I'm waiting for the podcast. And the longer it's been on, I'm thinking, my balls are still hot. But when they cool, I'm just going to turn it off, and my balls are going to get hot again. So,
I'll see what happens. I
All
don't
right,
know.
good
They
enough.
can say no.
yeah, see how it goes.
I'll just put a picture of a flaming basketball.
So, okay, so we're at 2:54. So basically, we're going to see if, like, 90 minutes, if it's shut off. Like, up in the corner, there's 3 minutes. See it?
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a timer. So I assume if we get the countdown, like, you will be shut down in 1 minute.
No, you probably just hang up. Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Then we'll phone back and go from there.
We'll see how
So-
it goes.
Yeah. But good way to start the show, talking about your sweaty balls.
Ah, my peach sweaty balls. Remember all that clip off of Saturday Night Live?
Yeah.
I'm glad you all like my sweaty balls. Please sample them. Put them in your hand. Roll them around. Alec Baldwin for all his outside the studio shit. His
Yeah.
stuff on SNL is classic.
Yeah.
My sweaty balls.
Yeah. 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 No, yeah, he has his problems, but he's funny.
Yep, he sure is. Good timing.
Okay.
I got 3 pages. I hand wrote it. I said to myself, I got to be prepared.
Handwritten notes.
Handwritten notes.
Holy
I went old
fuck.
school. I was just going to wing it, and I'm like, about noontime, I was like, I can't fucking wing it. I got to be prepared.
Yeah, that's my job, to wing it. Let me just... It's just... Trump and Musk are now supervillains in Captain Canuck comics.
I'm not surprised. Everything's a Broadway show, and the whole world's a stage or something like that.
Wow, I didn't
Actually,
even
when
know.
you said Feedly, every time you say the word Feedly, there is a site called Fansly, which is basically girls just sucking cock.
Oh.
And every time you say Feedly, I'm thinking to myself, yes, get some stories from there.
Oh, no, I don't want to subscribe. Lifting even pants. Oh, he gives Trump and Musk the super wedgies. So, not your home in our home in native land. Anyways, okay.
All right.
So we're gonna count this as a real show with real people.
What do you want to start with? What you want to start with? I got us some.
Well, we're
I got
gonna
us
start
some
with like
comics.
we used to do. We're not gonna do everything because some of the stuff I want to say, but I haven't watched yet.
Guys, I'm bringing the party to you.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
You big dummy. Oh, great Odin's raven. Say hello to my little friend.
I stepped in a ditch last night, man. I almost pulled my balls off, man.
You take drugs, Danny? Every day. Good. What's the problem?
Yeah, David.
Giggity, 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 giggity. Oh, we know what you fear well without.
On the doctor. What's up, guys?
This aggression will not stand, man.
Engage. Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
Did you see the Andor trailer?
I did see the trailer. I haven't watched any of the series yet, but I'm telling you, it's one of those series that I'm guessing Disney's like, I wish we could all have fucking Andor.
Yeah.
Because it's universally praised.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's what show is this? September. Season 11, season 13, episode
329, because Rage debuted in 328, and then the Avengers
That's right.
329. Yeah. It's 329, I think.
329. So hey everyone, welcome to the show. And it is just Scott and I. Hopefully Paul will be getting another show in here in a little bit with Paul. So it is season 13, episode, as Scott just said, 329. Welcome to the show. Take yourself a seat in the corner booth and let's get our geek on. I think there's something else I was going to say, but I can't remember now. No, okay. Anyways, going back to that, yeah, you haven't watched. Okay, for some reason I thought you've watched all of Andor.
I know I watched the first 3 episodes of the first season at my daughter's house. She has Disney Plus, but we never finished it. But
No.
but I'm very close to getting access to Disney Plus and my TV. But anyway,
You still haven't got your
one of the-
TV yet?
That's one of those fuckaroo things. They actually tried to deliver a full-size couch here. I wasn't here, and Susan opens her phone and she puts the video up and she's like, "They brought a fucking coach. They brought me a coach." And
Yeah.
she said, they're lucky. I open the door and I see them walking up the thing with the couch. I'm like, "Guys, what are you doing? We ordered a TV,
Yeah.
75-inch TV." And he's like, "No, I think you got it right." And he looks at it, he's like, "Oh yeah, they sent the wrong thing." And this was about a week ago, and we went to set it up again, and neither of us could get the day off. So right now, tentatively, we've got it for the 17th, but we'll see. It's one of those things. I'm just, when it's here, it's here.
They must be, Best Buy must use a different delivery service. Right?
It's not Best Buy. It's
Leon's?
not Best Buy. It's Costco.
Oh, Costco. Oh.
Yeah, Costco.
Oh, okay. Glad to see other people fuck it up. Yeah, so, TV just went off. There goes my fishies. No, it's fine. It does that when I don't have it on for a bit. I was watching, Harrison got me into this Japanese anime online service, like Netflix for just anime. Crunchyroll.
Bukaki.com.
No, you don't have to pay for that. You just go look on the tube.
Just
Bukaki.com. I wonder if they would catch that. Anyways,
there's a girl. Just before I forget, there's a girl. Her name is Melissa Chin. She is a political analyst. She's from Singapore. She's a beautiful girl.
yeah.
And she makes the raunchiest fucking jokes about Bukaki on her fucking feed, and it's amazing. All of a sudden, you'll be seeing politically relevant stuff, very serious, and all the shows she'll go Bukaki, and people are like, it's like they're like, what did you say, Bukaki? What? Hilarious. Great girl, Melissa Chen. Folks, if you want a great political analysis and some really raunchy shit every now and then, she's a girl to listen to.
Chen, Chen?
Chen.
Yeah.
Bukaki.
Okay. Bukaki. It almost sounds like a breakfast cereal. What are you having today? I'll have a bowl of Bukaki, please.
Hold the milk. I got my own.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm watching a show on Konosobi. It's a little Japanese, this guy dies and he ends being transported. Before he doesn't go to the hell or heaven, he's in the dominion where they take him, they reincarnate his body into a different place, and he's playing in this one he's like in a video game sort of scenario where they do quests and earn money. So the last one I just watched, he had to have all these wishes, and he's got these 4 girls, and he's having them doing all these perverted things.
Jesus Christ.
They're not, you don't show them, but they're like, ones are doing strip rock paper scissors.
Oh, strip rock. While nude?
No, they're not nude. They're just there's no nudity, but there is a lot of bouncing titties in it all over the place.
They have a fetish with big old titties. I think it's because Japanese women tend not to have large breasts, and they love their big boobies over there.
Well, the one girl, she's a knight, and she gets off on being mistreated.
Okay.
You know? So, not physically, but verbally.
I do too. I call it marriage.
Yeah. So he's having her doing sits up, and her tits are bouncing off the floor, and he's just watching.
Nice.
So it's kind of interesting.
Give yourself a black eye.
Yeah. Hey, you got Prime.
Mm-hmm.
There's a show that just started with Kevin Bacon, and it's only a half-hour episode. The Bondsman.
Yes, I haven't watched it, but I've got one other thing I want to watch before, and I'm gonna check it out here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. It's a nice half-hour quick demon hunting show. So
He likes the men. He did a movie called The Woodsman there about
Yeah.
10 years ago.
yeah,
Where he was a pedophile looking out of prison, and people were like, "What the fuck?" But I mean, hey, I watched it, and it was like good acting.
yeah,
Bad choice of girls, but good acting.
yeah. No, he's having fun with this. It looks like it, and it's only half-hour shows. So you're not really deep invested into it.
They
So-
asked him a question about what role he would like to revisit that he's ever played, and he said, "I don't know. I can't remember the cast, the name of the character, but Tremors."
Oh yeah,
He said, "I would love to visit that cast again."
yeah,
40 years later. I was thinking, fucking give him money and let him do it.
yeah.
You know,
yeah.
most of them are still alive, I think.
Yeah, Fred Ward passed away though.
Yeah, Fred Ward.
Yeah,
But
he-
Michael Gross, Reba McEntire,
Right.
she's still alive.
Yeah, yeah. Sure. I mean, Michael Gross did a whole bunch of those after the rest of them didn't stop doing them.
And I say this, folks, after realizing that part of the news feed I'm going to be presenting is me tearing an asshole out of people in Hollywood who don't have any original ideas. So forget I said this at the beginning.
No asshole for you.
Yeah.
So no, I enjoy it, but I got to tell you the truth. I get really tired real quick of watching whatever's on the TV. I watch a couple things that get done. Like I still haven't watched any of Reacher. I watched, and that's
It's very good. It surprised me because when the first season started, I was thinking, "What the fuck are they doing?" And by the end of it, I was happy that it was totally different than season 1 and season 2.
yeah.
It keeps it fresh. I mean, it's already been. I think it's already been renewed for the 4th season, but it was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I don't know. I have to be in the mood, and I'm not in the mood to finish it. But there's some other stuff I'm saving, like the Doctor Who started up. I'm
I
gonna.
heard it's that close to cancellation. They said
Yeah.
that actually the guy said he was gonna putting it on hiatus, which
Yeah.
I was like, "Ooh, that's a nice term for, you don't put stuff on a hiatus if it's doing very well."
Well, I do have a little bit of a news story later on about somebody who wrote an article about Doctor Who.
Okay.
And I'll get into that later. But
right.
So what are you like? What have you been? I know you and Scott you and Paul seem to be watching more stuff than I am. Really, like I'm talking new stuff. Like I haven't done a lot of new stuff.
Well, since I already kind of mentioned it, soon I hunker down on the Godzilla and then Kong trilogy. What's the term for 5 movies?
Mm-hmm.
We watched 2014, we watched 2019, and then 2021, and then we watched Skull Island over again, and just kind of watched him. And the Monarch was in the middle of that too, so we've been really diving into that. But I'll talk about the newest one, which came out last year, Godzilla vs. Kong: New Empire.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the first one I watched where I was actually more genuinely interested in the story of the monsters than I was the human character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't give a shit. And some of it was just, it's like they'll have a list of characters. Transformers is a perfect example. If they took the Transformers and they took remember the blonde and that guy they were hackers. The pretty blonde and the guy who was a hacker. He had a bunch of donuts and they took him in a room, and he started squealing like she did it. Anyway,
That's how much I remember. That's must be how good it was, right?
If they took B storyline characters in one of the films and then made them the stars of the next film,
Mm-hmm.
but they didn't have the acting chops, that's what it felt like in this one. Nothing against the actors, they were B characters in the last one, and I didn't feel their performances in the last one elevated them to get a kind of a starring role in this one.
Yeah.
But Kong was really good. I mean, they had little baby Kong.
Yeah.
That's a thing around with having the baby out.
That's usually the death of a TV series.
Yeah, but exactly. But the villain, it felt like Planet of the Apes. It was like a really big Planet of the Apes in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but the stuff between him and it's one of those things where they keep upping it till they have no place else they can go. And I think the challenge, because I know they're actually filming another one down in, I believe, in Australia now, And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know where you guys go from here because you blew quite a significant load in this show. You had
You bukkake on.
yeah, they bukkakeed everywhere, and
Yeah.
it was entertaining for what it was. It was about 2 hours long, but I remember sitting there saying to myself, I'm glad I didn't watch this in the theater. We broke it up into an hour, and I was thinking it didn't hold me enough. A lot of it was just scientific gobbledygook. I mean, it was interesting in that aspect to a degree, but they've gone to the well. I think they had one more shot at this, but it made money. I checked on it. It absolutely made money, and that's why they're making a new one. But I think Godzilla and Kong is kind of played out. They can only do so much with them anymore. It's like in the first ones, they felt like oversized monsters. In this one, it just felt like Planet of the Apes meets lizard people. So
Lizard people? What
Godzilla.
lizard people? Oh.
Well, Godzilla. Yeah, Godzilla.
I never thought of Godzilla as a lizard. That's why I was huh?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I've always and one critique of all these films, they never talk about the human death toll in any of these films. That's why it's so
Because
so
they're
hard
secondary.
yeah, it's secondary.
They're
but, like,
secondary
these
characters. Who cares?
These creatures are killing human beings, and it would mean so much more, and it would be so much more dramatic if they would actually show people. They did it in 2012. They do it in disaster movies all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't do it so it would be like, fuck, these creatures are menacing, but it's very rock'em sock'em at this point in time, and I don't know. It'll make money because it looks great on the screen, but even the human characters this time around, I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I just watched. I wanted to see the monsters fight. They give us a break. We got to do something. We can't constantly watch 90 minutes of just fighting. We have to throw in something in. So, but that
CGI. The CGI from the middle of the earth was really cool.
Yeah.
Like, they set up a pretty good world down there. That's one thing. Even Susan said, she said, "Well, you fucking look at that." I was like, "Yeah, they did a really good job on the CGI."
just what you get your big TVs even be fucking more impressive.
That was the plan. We actually held off for a week to get the TV, and I said to Susan, I said, I'm not waiting any fucking longer for this thing. And we just watched it. So,
Yeah.
but it wasn't bad. But we already talked about that. What we're gonna watch for our first big sci-fi movie on the big screen. We don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But what have you been watching?
Well, as I said, I've been watching The Bondsman, right? That Japanese thing. Again, I don't have a lot of new stuff. I did, if you want to call it, rent a copy of the first episode of Mobland that is on Apple. I haven't
we're
watched
watching
it.
that here in a little while.
I haven't watched it yet, so I'm saving that. I actually found two movies that I discussed, and Paul brought up the one, Operation Undead, which is a bunch of Japanese soldiers on an island with the zombies, and then another one called One Cut of the Dead. That's from like 2017 that Paul talked about a lot. I found it, so I'm saving those to watch. I might do them on the long weekend here coming up. I keep forgetting we get a long weekend. So Mobland, I was going to ask you what guy, not because I want to get into watching it, just so I can watch an episode and say, okay, I watched it, we can talk about it a little bit, is what, have either of you guys watched Severance? I know I have. I'm actually asking Paul.
I have not.
Hey, Paul, text back if you hear this on Wednesday. Yeah.
I have not watched it yet, but it's on my list. I think it's one of the shows that Sue and I are going to start watching.
Okay,
but yeah,
so
it's on our list.
I'm going to find an episode and watch it so I can at least say I watched it. Usually when you ask guys what you're watching, I go, nah. I think what I'm going to do is simply watch one episode. Right? Just say, okay, I'll try one episode and see what happens. If I want to go back to it, I'll go back to it. Yeah. But like Daredevil, that's the only one I've been that's on our genre for the show, if we want to talk about up this episode. I think it's episode 8 they're on now.
Yeah, I think it's the last one. It's funny,
I don't think it's the last one.
I don't know how good it's been or not, but the buzz compared to the Netflix one is just. I didn't know the 8th episode was coming up because people online really haven't been talking about it that much. That I found anyway.
Well, I'm enjoying it. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't have as much. And you know what? Unless something happens in the last couple of shows or a show or next season, this episode is not like this guy said at all about ramping up the violence. Bullshit. It has some in it, but a lot of it is, it's you have a show, you have to have people, situations, they talk, get through things. They just can't start the show, start beating like this. Seems like this guy described. It's a regular TV show, except it's got superheroes in it, and you've got the best thing is when they're showing Daredevil and Kingpin, like they're showing them side by side pictures of them doing their stuff, both being dragged back to whatever Kingpin. Much harder he tried, he's getting dragged back into the lifestyle he created. It is the same label. He's dragging back in. It just shows them both being dragged back into the world they didn't want to be in, but that's the world they're at. So. Then again, I unless it really sucks, I'm getting what I want, which is basically entertainment, right?
Yeah.
And so I would recommend it.
So Frank Castle, was he just in a couple episodes, or is he kind of sprinkled throughout the entire series?
No, just one so far.
This one's for
They just brought him in. It was they brought him in to have. Like I saw one thing in the Daredevil was able to. Again, like any show, you've got to take stuff with a grain of salt. He's hiding, but Daredevil, Matt Murdock finds him right away, knows where he's at, right? And all it is that he was playing Matt's psychiatrist, trying to get the look like he's. Punisher said to him, "You're here to for me to give you permission to do what you do. That's what you want." And that's basically what it was. And
okay. So, I heard I heard one of the scenes were really good.
Well,
but
you mean with Punisher or with?
Yeah, well, someone had made a contrast. I guess it was a scene where Matt and the Punisher were talking, and then some scene in a school, I think, something like that, took place, and they were like, they went from so good to a terrible scene. And I don't know, maybe what they're referencing.
I don't know, but I just know with John Barenthal and those two acting, it was.
Yeah. I can't see where
it's great, right?
Yeah, he made a point of saying that they wanted to do something. I thought it was a bad idea. I suggested something, and we did that.
Yeah. So, I think he was brought in for that one thing in the rewrite. I don't know if he's coming back for another one, but it's to reintroduce him to the audience because they're bringing back. I don't think it's a TV series. I think it's kind of like a movie, a Punisher movie.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a movie, but he is definitely doing something with that.
Yeah.
Speaking of red costumes, I watched, just out of morbid curiosity, Hellboy: The Crooked Man. That was the latest Hellboy movie.
Different actor.
Different actor.
Yeah. Okay. No, go ahead.
It was a complete, Guillermo del Toro, all of that sci-fi, fantasy, CGI money is gone. It was very bare bones. And I don't know whether that franchise is ever going to recover after Ron Perlman and Guillermo del Toro both saying, "Fuck you, you should have given us money to do the third one."
Yeah.
And I think that's why David Harbour didn't take off in 2019. And this one had a $20 million budget.
Mm-hmm.
And they did what they could with it. It only made $2 million at the box office. So I think that's probably the end of it. They tried to do it like a horror film, almost in the vein of like Evil Dead, the original Evil Dead, where there was it was horror, but it was humor, but it wasn't really gory horror. It was more suspense. And it was kind of like, it took place in the mountains of the South, like Kentucky, that, Y'all, Deliverance, Deliverance Mountains.
Yeah.
And it wasn't bad. Once I get into it, Susan watched the first 20 minutes. She's like, I don't want to watch any more of this. And I'm like, okay. I was like, it's different, and I want to see where it goes. And if they had the CGI, actually, it's amazing that even cheap CGI looks 10 times better than CGI from 20 years ago. I mean, the CGI didn't look too bad. For a $20 million budget, they did a decent job. But I think he had the same mentality that guy did with Godzilla, where he made, a really good Godzilla film for $15 million. Mm-hmm. And again, it wasn't bad. There were a few good parts. It was a kid from, I know you don't know him, but he was on Yellowstone. Uh-huh. And he's not a bad actor. And by the end of it, I remember in the last scene, I'm thinking, they started to gel as a cast. You could tell they did, because it was kind of like there was a Japanese lady, and she was in she did a couple CW shows, and her and the guy who plays Hellboy, whose name escapes me, I want to say Mark Heresy or something. I believe that's his name. They kind of started to gel together, and there was some good conversation where you were thinking these characters are kind of coming together as kind of a supernatural superhero team. But it made $2 million on a $20 million budget, so I don't know how you come back from that.
Yeah.
So if you're a Hellboy lover and you're just a fan for being a fan, I think you'll enjoy it. It's very intense, and the co-stars, there's a black gentleman who plays a preacher, and he's really fucking good at it. He stood out for me from the cast. Yeah. One of the Southern preachers, and he was a standout in the cast. Of course, the Crooked Man was basically the devil. So it's a decent story for a standalone story, for a $20 million story. It wasn't bad, and if you're a Hellboy enthusiast, you'll probably like it. But it didn't go anywhere, and I would be very surprised. When you take $20 million and get $2 million box office back, you're probably not going to see another one. So
I'm just sitting here listening to you talking away. Oh fuck! I should be writing this shit down so I can put it in the highlights.
The highlights?
Yeah,
the lowlights.
Yeah, whenever percent goes printed out. It's I started making little notes like you did, stuff I watched, right? So I could talk about it, and I don't watch as much as I thought, because I only got like 5 things down.
I only got 4 shows. I just made, I wrote about you watch Perry Mason?
No. You
never watched Perry Mason?
No, I never did. What's in it? With what's his name? I know who you talked about.
That fucking guy.
Yeah. So no, I never watched it, and I never watched the reboot. Perry Mason was a law thing, and I wasn't really I wasn't into that. So.
They tried to do. It was actually the company. The folks who served as executive producers on the series was Susan Downey and a young rascal named Robert Downey Jr.
But I know about the reboot. Yeah. I forgot he was involved in it. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were rebooting it, and it was well acted, but it was very progressively slanted. And I can guarantee you, I would be very surprised if what happened was folks tuned in, the old-timey folks tuned in looking for Perry Mason, and they found a more left-wing series in kind of an old-timey platform.
Oh, yeah.
And the far left folks who were going to see it said, fuck that, I'm not watching Perry Mason. My grandpa used to watch that. And I think that's what happened, because the acting was really good in it. The guy, what the hell's his name? He was in The Americans, too. He's a really good actor. He was in Friday Night Lights, too.
Oh.
And Rice, I knew I should write his name down.
Yeah, you damn person.
It was a really good cast, and it was well written, and the story was very well done. But it was canceled in 2023. It got 2 seasons, but they're 2 very good seasons. If you're looking for a series, and it ended well. They ended it well. I mean, I didn't have any complaints about it, but when you're watching it, you're like, let me give you an example.
Matthew Rhys.
Matthew Rhys, yes, that's his name, Matthew Rhys.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example of what I'd be talking about. In the 20s and 30s when this took place, gay people were still in the closet. They
Oh, yeah.
couldn't do anything. They had to, and part of that played into people being blackmailed.
Yeah. Oh.
And you got that. It fit in the story. But then there's a part where a few of the young ladies, were mouthing off to guys, and I'm like, there's no way back in the 20s a young lady would have gotten away with that, because she would have got the old,
Yeah.
And it was just, there was stuff that, okay, this happened definitely, but then you're like, this didn't happen. This was just, it didn't happen that way. So that kind of took you out of it a bit. But it was, again, well acted, well written, very good stories, very well written story. Took it a long way, and the actors, really good cast. I mean, you can tell that's kind of Robert Downey Jr. I'm sure he had a hand in the cast, and he's like, he got a very good cast out of it. But if you like Perry Mason, or even if you don't like Perry Mason, if you like legal dramas in general, check it out. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's two seasons. If you're not looking for something to invest in like 5 or 6 seasons, it's 2 seasons. There's another one called Your Honor, which had Breaking Bad. His name's right on the tip of my tongue.
Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
It's based in New Orleans. 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Great legal drama, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But it's 2 and done. That's
Legal dramas have never been my thing. I could never get into them. So
I like the twists and turns, because I find you like that. Like, even the second season, there are a couple things I'm like, how are they going to do this? How's this going to work out? And I didn't guess until like episode 6. I was like, I know who the villain is, and it takes a while to figure out who it is. But
the guy in a trench coat.
Yeah, a guy in a trench coat.
Yeah.
But they seed it. Certain movies will seed a few things, and then you really got to watch it. And then, but when the villains are revealed, you're like, oh, that's why that happened. So I enjoyed it. I wish it went to more seasons, to be quite honest.
Yeah. I don't watch Saturday Night Live anymore. The only time thing I watch Saturday Night Live for is for the weekend update. That's my favorite part of the show.
Yeah. I watch them on YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, but me too. I watched it on YouTube. I don't. But there's a young woman. She's in the White Lotus right now, and then she was in Sex Education. She's an attractive young woman. She has buck teeth though, and apparently they made fun of her on Saturday Night Live.
I read a bit about that. Didn't know anything of the context, and I'm thinking to myself, when you're parodied on Saturday Night Live, you fucking made it.
Yeah,
you've made it. And to see someone complain about that, I'm thinking, did her talent manager actually say, you know what? Let's fucking complain about this.
Yeah.
We should be angry about it.
Yeah.
Every single star from the last 50 to 60 years has been parodied on SNL.
Yeah.
Like, get over it already.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
It's just you're self-conscious about her overbite. So, but it suits her. That's the thing. I've seen her. It suits her. I don't know why. She's a very attractive young woman with the overbite. It's one of those things that work. But yeah, I don't watch it. But this is what I saw come up. It comes up. She just said it was mean and unfunny. So, I would go more to unfunny.
Yeah. I don't care what political stripe. Elon Musk was kind of pissy about some of the stuff they did on there. It's comedy. It doesn't matter. I don't care who it is. Yeah, I don't care who it is. If you're going to complain about Saturday Night Live, which has ensconced people in, just the lore of entertainment, and complain about it, just shut up. No one wants to hear it. So,
yeah,
I got a. Go ahead.
No, it was thinking as a. You watched Bill on Friday.
I did. Nothing he really said surprised me. I kind of thought that, those two guys, if they had met back in Hef's mansion back in '85, they would have been the best of fucking friends.
Yeah.
Because they were. I said when he gave the thing and he's talking about, I said, they are Hugh Hefner liberals. They really are.
Yeah.
They're just old school liberals, and I guarantee you, even Trump. When he said they got along for 2.5 hours, I was like, yeah, it didn't fucking surprise me in the least, because they're both,
I flipped through YouTube and I don't care. I still don't like the man he went and met, but what I find interesting, he said, I know this is a little political, folks, but it's just a tiny bit, is that I don't care. I'm just telling you what I saw. I'm just telling you what I saw. But yeah, he was right. There was a guy on YouTube I didn't watch it, but the headline was like, "How dare you say those nice things?" So, anyways,
but it's called the attention economy. That's how folks get attention these days. They have to rage. They have to rage. And when he said, "I'm just telling you what I saw," I was thinking, what a simple concept.
Yeah.
And it's so unlike what anyone says. It's never about what they saw. It's what they can spin it into, right or left. That's what they do. That's what they have to do for the attention economy.
Yeah.
So
that was it. I'm just going through my things to see what I had marked. Oh, sorry, wrong one. But go ahead. I'm just trying to find the things I found for later.
one more comment on real time. When he said to that guy about being a boring guest,
yeah,
I turned to Susan. I said, that guy's never going to be back because
the guy who's trying to blow him.
Yeah, basically, he hates kiss asses.
God,
hates kiss asses.
I hated him too.
He hates kiss asses, and when he said about a boring guest, I turned to Susan. I said, that guy's never going to be on there again. Basically, that was a kiss of death right there. And I don't know why he was doing it. I'd never seen the guy before, but I was thinking to myself, I hate guests like that. They try and kiss his ass and get him to agree with what they say, and it just comes off as terrible TV. I'd rather have someone go counterpoint with him. But that was the only thing that stood out to me.
Well, he was getting pissed. You could see it in his face.
He's like, would you just suck my dick right here on TV, bud?
I wish you would have said that. Stop blowing me and let's get on with the show.
Yeah. But when he said a boring guest, I was like, oh my God, that's the worst thing any guest can hear is you're boring.
Yeah.
Because you're not even exciting, you're not entertaining, you're not conversation stimulating, you're just boring.
Yeah.
So I know you're not a Springsteen fan, but he has a 83 song. It's called Tracks 2, and it's songs that he has written over the last 35 years that he never completed, and he's releasing them 7 albums the day before my birthday this year. It's called Tracks 2.
The incompleted files?
The Lost Sessions, I think it's called, but it's 83, and I can't fucking wait. I'm gonna have it for my birthday.
But isn't it like they're not finished songs? Or
he finished them. He said this before. He said, I'll write a bit of a song and I'll leave it, and I could go back to it years later. But what it's actually about was I watched a documentary on him. It was on Apple Plus called Letter to You. And this was his last album, and it was one of my favorite Springsteen albums, I think, of all time, which is fascinating for a guy that's like 75 years old now. Focuses on the recording of the album itself. It's in the studio, and the stories behind the songs. And when I was researching this, I found a very interesting tidbit about him. He is the first act in history to have a chart-topping album in each of the last 6 decades, the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and now the 2020s. He is the only artist in the history of music to have that a chart-topping album in all 6 decades.
Decades.
Decades. So I was like, I said to Susan when I said that, I saw that was coming up June 27th. I said to myself, I'm fucking buying that. Love it. But it was a good documentary. It was really a lot of cool stories. He was telling about his first band when he was 15, and just basically playing for hot dogs, playing for food, just scraping by. Everyone does it, and I think that's one of the things that really doesn't happen today. There's not that hunger where people will just go out and play for nothing and just build it up that way.
Yeah, I mean, we can't. I'm not going to say like we don't see it anymore because we don't see it, right? We don't actually see it. Yeah. The closest we see anything like that is on YouTube or whatever, where they're, instead of being on the street corner, they're singing. But
that's what I mean. But they put it on YouTube. There's a platform supporting them. Yeah. But back then, you just went to a club and there was a guy, and if he liked you, he said, "Look, you can have some fucking chicken wings afterwards. Get up there and play." It was a much different industry. Yeah. And it's funny because Susan told me that Simon Cowell, who of course was the mouthpiece on American Idol for years, he said that now that he has a son, he said that he regretted what he did with the music industry in the last 20 years. Some of the bullying that he did. He really regrets doing it. And I was like, you don't realize how badly you did fuck the industry, because for 20 years, the recording industry, of the thousands of people who have gone through that show and the other various shows, America's Got Talent and so forth, maybe 5 to 7 of them, your Carrie Underwoods, who else made a Daughtry, a few other ones. But most of them, they went nowhere. They never went into clubs. They were told, you suck, and they just ended their music career.
Yeah.
So now at this point in time, you've got 25 years. There's a reason why bands from the 70s and 80s are still playing stadiums now, because no one came after them.
Yeah.
It's really happened after Britney Spears, I would say, and Justin Timberlake in the early 2000s, where those reality TV shows came on and no one from the record industry was really paying attention to anyone else but who was on TV.
Yeah.
And the people on TV burn out. So now you've got 25 years of music that's kind of a dead zone. There's no one really that's come up. And I mentioned on that, when I mentioned Billy Corrigan, he was on Rogan, and he said that a lot of my contemporaries can't do the tours of the bands from the 80s because they're dead.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. I feel sorry for the next generation, because they're not going to have Elton Johns or Bruce Springsteens or Billy Joels. It's just not there.
They get what they deserve, lazy fucks.
Yeah. But when Simon Cowell said that, I said to myself, I wish someone had pushed back and said, motherfucker, you did this.
Yeah.
You and people like you in the industry that brought up these dummies, and not all of them. Many of them were talented, but a lot of the time on those shows was to bring up people just to laugh at them on stage. And I guarantee you, there's a lot of people that are like, that guy just got tore apart. I'm not going up on stage to give it a shot.
Yeah.
So.
There's just a grumpy old man speaking. I don't know. Too many computers, not enough real talent, and the real talent, real talent's being ignored because of the computers.
Yes, exactly. Unfortunately, that's why actually even in writing, and that's part of what's coming up, where people used to travel. The internet really came to rise in 97, 98, and since then, I think the quality of writing in TV and movies, there's exceptions, of course. There is exceptions. But the quality of writing in movie and TVs has gone down. Kids aren't on their dirt bikes as much. They're not going to play in the woods. They're not traveling on trips. They're sitting in front of what we're doing right now more than ever before.
We've mentioned that a few times. No experience.
You can't be inspired. You can't be inspired by a screen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw this. I thought this was interesting. Finally glad it's happening that YouTube is supporting a bill introduced by the Republicans and Democrats about cutting down on fake stuff on the internet. Using.
I can't watch YouTube now. I can't watch it that much. I'm so sick of seeing these fake trailers.
Yeah.
I hate it. it. I'm glad. Actually, I read last week that Warner Brothers had put out a cease and desist that any of these trailers that went up, I think it was Warner Brothers, maybe it was Marvel, any of these trailers that went up, they would get the money from it.
Yeah.
So.
There was, like, it says for any likeness used at all in these fake trailers, but there's all those just fake shit, they're using the fake AI for other stuff, and they're putting it and trying to manage it, to control it. It's because, like you said, I have to look real hard. I have to make sure it's coming from the source, Warner Brothers, Disney, 20th Century Fox, whatever, because you get sucked into these fucking trailers that these people make, and it's just. A lot
of them are based out of India. There was a guy that was an interview. Maybe it was Piers Morgan, where he was having an interview with a guy. I think it was Piers Morgan. He was in an interview with a guy from India who was just putting them up all the time, and he said, "We're just having fun," which is bullshit. They were trying to monetize them until YouTube stopped.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if they stopped yet, but maybe they have stopped on some of those. Yeah. But they look like they're trying to do more control over the majority of them. You know,
I hate YouTube now for that simple point is there's so much fake shit and the AI, if you watch something now, you'll get 50 other videos of it.
Yeah.
It's worse than it ever was because the algorithm will automatically, if you watch 1 or 2 or 3 videos of the same thing, the next time you log into YouTube, it's all that shit.
Yeah. Well, I'm the opposite. I watch a lot of YouTube, but I'm not getting. I'm watching like old British comedy shows, old movies, certain programs that I know are not fake. I haven't watched a lot of Screen Crush on their episodes with Daredevil. There's certain shows I know that are fake, and like who's going to go and fucking make a CGI of a 1960s British comedy, right? So I watch it for that stuff, and certain things. But I actually do watch a little bit more of it because I can find some of the stuff I want to watch now on there.
What do you think of that WCW channel that they started up?
I watch. Oh, yeah. So you put on Blue Sky, whatever, talking about some young buck in the crowd talking about wanting to be a commentator.
What
the fuck was that?
I was saying it was Paul.
Yeah,
young
that's what I'm
Paul in
thinking.
Manchester.
And I'm thinking, fucking Paul wouldn't be at a wrestling match in WCW at that time.
Well, I know he used to watch wrestling. He said he used to watch wrestling, and I'm thinking if WCW was in Manchester, and I mean, he would have been what, maybe
So
20?
I spent 45 minutes looking in the fucking crowd trying to find him. You got me.
I feel both badly and slightly amused by that.
I gave up. I haven't watched anymore, but it was really hard to watch simply because it was no commentary. It's I loved it because you could hear the trains all the time going by in it, wherever the arena we were at. You know, there's fucking trains everywhere. So
yeah, but I mean, it was. I love the fact that they have stuff like that on there, like stuff that really you've never seen. I mean, they never put stuff like that. They never put shows like that on DVDs or VHS tapes back in the day. So a lot of the stuff on there is really good. Same with the WWE Vault. They've started putting WrestleManias on there now.
Yeah,
folks that grew up on YouTube, it's no big deal. But I'm telling you, when you used to pay $20 to watch WrestleMania or $25 to buy the tape, and all of a sudden they're fucking all free on YouTube. I was watching. I watch wrestling when I'm exercising. I've started watching WrestleMania 6.
Yeah.
With the Warrior and Hogan and Demolition and Haku, and I was thinking to myself, and it's in high def quality. I was sitting there saying to myself, folks, with each couple of years, you're thinking you have no idea how lucky you kids are, really, to be able to see that quality of wrestling.
We would get together, go down to the video store. I'd rent about 5 or 6 wrestling tapes, and then 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 of us that were wrestling fans went together at the house, my house that I was renting, with me and my other buddy. And we would just fucking get fucking shit-faced drunk watching wrestling. So
we go down to the video store. I'd step behind that red curtain, and I'd look that guy in the eye and say, my girlfriend's outside.
Yeah.
Anyone from the 80s knows exactly what I'm talking about.
My favorite, though, was the Doors. The old Western-style Doors.
Saloon doors?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, those are great. I loved.
All you want to do is just want to strap a couple of dildos onto your side so you can walk through those doors. All right.
Yep. But I would go slow. Just to get people to look at me while I was going into that fucking room. So.
And you go in there, and most times there's a bunch of fellas there. I had a few girlfriends. Few girlfriends would go in with me, but a lot of them wouldn't go in with me. Back then, I'm telling you, back in the 90s, a lot of girls weren't near as open-minded about that kind of shit as they are today. And I remember going in and you see the girl and the guy in there and you're thinking, why won't you just fuck me? I mean, come on. It's like, but yeah, the red curtain was the worst because you go in there and when you're going up, you're walking up to it and you look under, you're thinking, I see 4 sets of feet. There's no fucking way I'm going in there right now. But anyway, off to WrestleMania. Well, when you said going to the video store, I was thinking that's really not the most awkward situation I've ever had at a video store. Yeah. And I went from there.
Oh.
So, but Where were we? I
don't know, but I always you put these swinging doors, okay, but you could still see the top shelf.
Yes,
right?
you could. You could.
You had to have a curtain because kids go back far enough and bring out look around, bring out the binoculars and sit there looking at the covers.
Yeah, but they used to set it up. You're right, like a saloon. Like it was. Well, they wanted people to know it was the Wild West back there, and it was a lot of the time.
You should open up the doors, go in, and shout out to everybody. Sure, barkeep, give me a shot of rye.
Yeah, but I mean, it's. They used to have a ton of that stuff, but on the wrestling side of it, I love those two channels now, and even the WCW. They're putting all the pay-per-views up, and for someone who likes that older wrestling, love it.
Yeah.
I got a few podcasts here.
Yeah, sure. Why not? We'll horse somebody else's podcast out.
Well, this was Chris Van Lay. He interviews wrestlers a lot.
Okay.
He's I think Chris Van Lay. I may be butchering his name here, but he had Kevin Owens on there. Now, I don't know whether you're aware or not, but Kevin Owens, 10 days before WrestleMania, got pulled from the card, and he has since had surgery on his neck.
Oh.
Yeah, he had. I guess something had happened in a match in January, and they didn't know exactly what was wrong. And I guess they found out because literally on SmackDown on like 10 days ago, he came out and he said, "Look, I'm not going to be at WrestleMania. I have to have neck surgery." So he's already had neck surgery, but this interview took place just before that, so it's not really talked about on there. But he does talk about a lot of really cool subjects. He headbutted Vince McMahon one time on SmackDown. Vince told him to lay it in, so he fucking laid it in. Mm-hmm. So when he walked back to the curtain, Stephanie was there like, "Get the fuck in the back," because he really laid into her old man right there in the ring.
Yeah.
He talks about fans of the airport. Mm-hmm. He says they go too far, and we kind of know that from the comic world. Mm-hmm. He said some of those guys will show up with a whole tub of shit for me to sign at the fucking airport. Mm-hmm. And he said, "I'm trying to make a flight," and they intimidate the girls because they'll surround them. And there's a couple of videos online where it's always the guy with the ball hat and the big belly. Yeah. And but he said, "Don't do that. Don't do it at the airport." And he says, "I'll say to them, who wants a picture? I got time for a picture." And he said 20 guys will go, "Oh," like they never wanted a picture. They just wanted to get the signatures so that they go home and sell them on eBay. Yeah. It's a really good interview because he talks about they have trading cards now, WWES trading cards. And he said when he was signing them, he just signed a bunch of random stuff. And one of the things he signed was, "Don't ask us to sign anything at the airports." Instead of his name, he said, "Kevin Owens, don't sign anything at the airport." And one of them was, Kevin Owens, "I like Shakira's music." And no one's found that card, "Don't ask us to sign stuff at the airport," but they've already calculated. But when that card is found, they figured it would be the most expensive card in the entire series just from him signing that. So, but it's a great interview. It runs about, I'd say, 45, 50 minutes. But he's well liked in the locker room, but he has a lot of interesting subjects on there he talks about.
No, I've been sticking with the ones, basically the podcast that we put up on the radio shows, old-time radio shows that I put up on the podcast, and then a few other ones. I haven't listened to a lot of any Bill Maher or Mark Maron stuff lately. I tried to get into listen to Rosenbaum, his stuff. I've just kind of haven't found there, just haven't had guests on there really interested in, and so I haven't really checked out. I am trying to see if I can find a radio show like the ones I put up that are present today, but with the science fiction story background to it. I sort of stuck with mostly what I got. I haven't changed around or listened around anything else.
I got about 10 I pick from, but there's usually I'll hear about a guest on a show and then I'll go listen to it. Like Kevin Owens, I had heard about it. I've realized over the last little while that everything people get on social media, 90% of it comes from podcasts now, and they'll just make stories of the clips of the podcast.
I noticed that too. You all
90% of it.
Mark Maron said this. It was on his pod. You read this. This is on his podcast. And I thought, well, that's an easy way to get yourself a story is just go listen to a podcast, pick out part of the podcast, write a fucking 5 or 6 paragraphs about this one sentence. So
yeah, and none of it's really original. It's just a regurgitation of what it is, unfortunately.
I mean, it is kind of like old news reporting. You're getting a news story from somewhere else from doing it, but it doesn't seem to have that freshness in it because everybody's doing it. You know, we're gonna go as the Pukaki term. Everybody's just blowing it all over the place. You get 500, 600, 700 just on YouTube talking about it, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's the difference is, and the prime example is this show. We started talking about wrestling, and we ended up on saloon doors in a porn shack.
Yeah.
That's original content, folks. That's original content right there.
Swinging around.
Okay,
we're getting the countdown here, Scott. We got 5, 57, 36. Let's see what happens here. We keep going.
Oh, yeah.
We'll just keep going, and when it stops, we'll come back. Have to pick up.
Sarah Levy from Schitt's Creek. Should we tell everyone what we're...
Oh, geez, I thought maybe you were talking about the cake, Sarah Lee, but you blew it. Okay, go ahead.
Sarah Levy from Schitt's Creek. She was on Trisha Heffler's show, and she was talking about a new movie called Monkey Man. I think was coming out. And the most interesting thing I've heard about that is the fact that they couldn't have a monkey with symbols because I guess Disney has the rights to a monkey with symbols. Either a monkey. Oh, sorry. Disney has the rights to a monkey with a drum from Disney's Toy Story.
Yeah.
So they could not have a monkey with a drum. They had to have them with symbols, or that may be rearranged. But I think that's what it was. But she was talking about that. She's in a horror film that came out very recently, actually. She lost her house in the California fires, and the interview took place on March the 25th. So it was like 2 weeks after she lost her house. He said they got a call to evacuate at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Sorry, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and by 5 they got a call saying it was all gone.
Oh wow!
So a lot of people, they lost everything, and they spent about 20 minutes talking about that. And I was thinking, how the hell are you gonna walk out of this? But they did it. It was a good interview. I mean, what the hell's her name? Not Trisha Heffler. Starbuck.
Katie Sackhoff.
Katie Sackhoff. She's turning into a good interviewer. I'm enjoying her interviews much better than I thought I would. But they talked about the movie. They talked about that. They talked about growing up as a Nepo baby in Hollywood, how she got the part in Schitt's Creek. It was just basically her dad said, look, this reminds me a lot of you. You want to try it. So she didn't know it was going to be a hit. And you were talking about how it really didn't become a hit until like the 3rd or 4th season. It was on Pop. I remember it was on the Pop network, which had I want to say it was in. The only reason I remember this because TNA was on that network too, wrestling company, and they reached 28 million homes in the U.S. And she said it really didn't hit big until Netflix, and she said they were shocked when they won the Emmys that year. So
Emmys. You sound like you said Emmys instead of Emmys.
Memories.
Watching the Emmys. Oh, it didn't go. We're
about
over.
To turn. Ball's about to drop. Oh, wait a minute.
We're over. We're 8 seconds over.
Yeah,
folks, if you're wondering what the hell we're talking about, we're on Teams now. And the information I read on Teams that you're only allowed an hour for a phone call or whatever is. I mean, I just did the basic information, but we're all surprised that it is 29 seconds after and we're still recording. So
yeah,
and watch it just fucking go off.
I think we're going to do an hour and a half. That'll give us 90 minutes. Worst case scenario, just start over. But the marathon.
Here's the thing. You keep talking. I have to piss.
Okay.
If you say anything dirty.
Actually, hold on. I have to go do something too that I forgot to do 20 minutes ago.
Okay.
Put the supper in the oven to cook. So give a little pause.
Yeah, we'll just leave dead air. I'll fix it.
All right. Good enough. I'll be back. All right. I'm back, folks. Listen, John's not here yet, obviously. He's off doing something. I got to tell you right now, I actually, when I mentioned earlier about having hot balls at the beginning, I had actually taken my pants off already. So I'm sitting here just in my skivvies with a T-shirt on, and I'm sitting there saying to myself, John's got to leave first. Because if he comes back, I can't stand up with my balls like that. So anyway, I see he's back.
Okay, who'd you have me screwing?
No one.
Oh,
I was
okay.
just saying about how it feels more ventilated in here now.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to whatever
Okay.
we were talking about.
So, yes, Sarah Levy on Schitt's Creek. It
Oh,
was
yes,
a
yeah.
good interview. The only thing I found wrong with it, they didn't know how to say goodbye. They didn't know how to say
end the
goodbye.
show?
They didn't know how to end the show. It was very odd.
Yeah.
Excuse me, it's a Hollywood thing. You're the best. No, you're the best. No, you're the
Oh,
best.
yes.
No, I'll tell you, you're the best. You know, I wanted to have you on here. No, I wanted to be on here a long time. And they did that.
Opposite of blowing Bill Maher at the start, they were trying to
Yeah.
kind of.
It was like for 2 minutes they were trying to say goodbye, and I'm thinking, this is fucking awkward as shit. Guys don't talk like that. It's like, yeah, okay, I'll see you later, bud. And that's it. But they were like trying to say goodbye, and it was that fake Hollywood weird shit. And it was
Yeah.
almost like they kicked into it. But other than that, nice ladies. But for 2 minutes, I was like, what in the fuck are you two doing? But other than that, it wasn't bad. It was a good interview, though. She's a good actress. I mean, we saw her on Schitt's Creek. They talked about coming back. I think it would be kind of cool to do Christmas specials. I like that Christmas show on that series. And I watch it every year now. And it'd be kind of cool if they could do a half hour, an hour Christmas special each year, or a special of an hour maybe once a year.
I think I heard, and it's probably totally wrong, that is it Sean Levy? It was
His son?
Yes, it's Sean, isn't it?
No, I don't think that's it. Sean Levy's the podcaster. He's that Special Forces guy.
Okay.
I don't think it's Sean.
Okay, well, the son who created the show with
Yeah, he did.
he did talk about getting it back. He said it was done, but I think they always kind of leave it open.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things. If they did a special a year for an hour, it would just go. It would give it a ratings bounce for the night. It really would. You know,
Yeah,
we're talking like Oscars money they could put on it.
Dan
No.
Levy, that's his name.
Dan
Dan,
Levy,
Dan
yeah.
and
I
Eugene.
was
Yeah,
gonna say Bob, but-
they created the show together. So, I think he would say, yeah. I would like this. I would like to see every once in a while. You know, I'd like to see one more time, just in case whatever happens. You know, everybody's getting older. You never know.
Yeah, that's the thing with that I really enjoyed about Picard. Which, by the way, on the next episode of Pop Culture Cafe, I am going to have a book review. That's right, ladies.
Yeah.
A book.
I saw that.
And
It's in paperback
What?
now. It's in paperback.
Yeah, I'll bring the book. I'll bring the book to the shop this Wednesday so you can read it. It's very good.
Yeah, hopefully it got some fucking work.
Yeah, true enough. Oh yeah. You might not be there.
Yeah.
So I got some nudes here. The Last of Us season 2 is premiering tonight. Now, folks, we're doing this on the.
is it tonight?
We're recording.
Oh.
Yeah, we're recording on the April the 13th, so it is tonight, and I've seen a few reviews of people who have seen it, and I guess it's already been renewed for a third season.
Yeah,
So all that
yeah.
talk about them leaving it and not doing it anymore was just they get a roll in the money pit, and they said, "Whee!"
Yeah.
So they're doing a third season.
But on a side note of that, though, again, I didn't go. I just read a quick headline and didn't go into depth about it. So take what it is. Is that somebody kind of suggested, how far can you go? Because it's only a video game and it does have its thing. I know Hollywood could stretch it and make new stories, create new sidelines, but I honestly am getting kind of tired of these constantly I don't know. I'm getting to the point where 2 seasons of really good quality content, I'm happy, right?
Yeah.
Because I think part of the thing is with Reachers that, on a side note, is that I got 2 really good seasons, and if I watch the third, I'm okay. If I don't, I'll watch it another time. But anyways, go on with your.
I call it the Game of Thrones rule. Yeah, the Game of Thrones rule, because they went off script. George R.R. Martin, they should have they should have taken a hiatus. I'm guessing he would have finished the book and they could have gotten it. But infamously, the two showrunners wanted to go off and do a Star Wars movie that never saw the light of day.
Yeah.
And that's when the writing went downhill.
So are you saying before I interrupt you talking about too many seasons, you're going to say something about what with The Last of Us?
Well, just stay on script. Same with the video game. If it's not in the video game, don't try and go any further off script. It takes a very talented writer to do that. The Karate Kid's Cobra Kai, that guy comes to mind. He took something and he added on to it and he did it very well. Most writers can't do that. And when you have a story, you can flesh it out a little bit, but don't try and take it any further.
The Karate Kid guy, he was fleshing out a story that had already been told, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. But they're not really. To my understanding, I've never played the video game. The Last of Us, it's got a very specific story and a very specific ending.
Yeah, I have the games and never played them. I don't understand why. I haven't played them. Yeah. But I have them. So.
So if they try and go outside that and write their own script for this video game, first the fans are going to turn on them, and second, it's probably not going to be as good as the original writers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
but I noticed a T-Rex from Drumheller. I'm pretty sure the CGI. In the original season, they had that. They had different things that were. I'm pretty sure that big dinosaur in Drumheller plays a role.
In season 1?
In CGI. Yeah, in season 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because they're filming in BC.
Yeah, I saw a trailer and there was a dinosaur. It looked like that big fucker from Drumheller. I may be wrong on that though.
And on a side note, they're trying to take that. They're thinking of getting rid of that in Lloydminster.
Yes, I heard about that. Well, now this is some local politics here, folks. But here in Alberta, in the town of Drumheller, which is one of the biggest dinosaur finds, and there's the museum there and everything, since. God, I guess Susan said it's been there since she was a child, so 45, 50 years ago. Yeah. There's a big dinosaur that they have there next to the tourism bureau there. Yeah. And I guess in 2029 the lease is up and they said they're going to close that attraction down. Susan said it's a bargaining thing, but that fucking dinosaur, they charge you $5 to go on that thing now. Oh, and Bret Hart had a funny story that he said that when all the guys would be going on the trip, maybe I've said this before, going on the trip, and they say they're going past Stu Hart, a monument they built to Stu Hart, and they come around the corner and there's a big fucking dinosaur. There he is, busts his own dad's balls.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's interesting. I'd be very surprised if they didn't come to an agreement because that's a big tourist attraction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I haven't gone anywhere. I keep. So yeah, I'll talk about that later, not on the show, but just about me getting out more. But anyways,
I got. They're gonna make a new Matrix film. What? They're gonna make a new Matrix film. Yeah, I know. I thought the same thing until I heard the guy who's going to be directing it. A guy named Drew Goddard is the man behind Daredevil at Netflix. He was the showrunner of that show on Netflix, and he was also the showrunner on Cloverfield. Yeah. So that makes me cautiously optimistic, because I watched about 10 minutes of that last one, and I was like, this sucks, and I never even finished it. Yeah. Which is terrible. I should have finished it, but it was. I said I just don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like. The police came home and said, look, all these men gangbanged your mom. I'll take your word for it. I don't need to watch. So.
Yeah. I'm not really. You know what? I'll be quite honest. It's one of the. I'll wait till it comes on Netflix or something. Yeah. I'm not even going to bother.
Mr. Goddard was also going to be the creator and showrunner between the canceled Sinister Six film with Venom and Carvin and Madame Web all bombing. That was all of a sudden because they did plan a Sinister Six film and they were going to have Jared Leto. And I changed if Paul's listening, he'll know what I'm talking about, where I said, look at the cast that would have been in that film. Jared Leto, Tom Hardy if he was in it, and Aaron Taylor and Michael Keaton. Just a fucking who's who of really good actors.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen now.
Yeah.
But have you watched Kraven yet by any chance?
No, it's still on.
Kraven-
I can't find it. I'll have to go back. I think it is on one channel that's free.
Yeah.
I don't know which one
Anyway.
it is.
I'm gonna give a review of it the next show just to get it off my plate. But if
Well,
you
I
guys
was-
want to watch,
Well, I was going to watch it so we could talk about it, but Paul can't
Yeah.
find it for free.
can't find it for free.
No.
All right.
Well,
there's-
he doesn't do the free stuff that I do, so he can't find it on Netflix or Sky or Prime or whatever any other service he has of it. He can't seem to find it. So who knows?
who to provide.
Yeah.
So yeah, he is going to be doing the new Matrix film. I don't know. I think honestly, you know what would work better? A TV series based on that world. You know, the world of the underground there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think a TV series based in that, if this Drew Goddard wanted to do it, based in that world, like Andor and so forth, like that, would work better than an actual show. Because, you know, Keanu Reeves is getting up there, Carrie-Anne Moss is getting up there, Hugo Weaving is getting up there, all in their 50s, 60s, 70s.
Well,
they can,
the movie's not going to involve any of that.
I don't know. Maybe he's going to start with the next thing.
I
but
tell
I mean,
you for sure, if they are, I'm not watching.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not.
So-
Sorry. If you're gonna do it, you're gonna need to do something with totally different new characters, and yeah, the best thing to do would be a
TV series where
Yeah.
you could explore those characters that you saw in the second and third films. I mean, that attack on that underground, with them coming down through the ceiling, was just that half hour was fucking excellent. If they could flesh that out, and you know, the machines, and there's something there. They could do it with that. It's something that hasn't been touched very much. I think that's why Rogue One was so well received. It was a major event that they really hadn't fleshed out. So I could think that's about the only way I could think of that it could be a successful series. Now we're in remake heaven here. A remake of The Bodyguard is in the works at Warner Brothers. Why are they doing Whitney like that? She was perfect in that role. And Kevin Costner was perfect in that role. And I watched it about 2 years ago, and it still held up. Like, and this is where I can kind of flesh out what I was saying before, that folks are, you know, for 5 years never left the house of the pandemic, and like 15 to 20 years beforehand, they became obsessed with screens. And I'm telling you, it's hurt the creative mind, where they're not traveling as much, so they're not getting as much stimuli for stories and storylines and inspirations for characters, and it's hurting the industry because I don't know why they redo The Bodyguard again. I mean, how are they gonna do anything but make that less of a movie? Because even the industry's different now. I mean, if they take cues from today's music industry,
they'll switch it around. They'll make her the bodyguard, and he's the singer, and she's got to protect him, and blah blah
I suspect
blah blah.
that might be it. Yeah, maybe they'll put Gina Carano in it. That'd be great. That'd be worth it. I watch that. But yeah, I can see they switch it around.
Yeah,
you know. But I don't know. I don't know why they're doing all these movies. It just goes back to, I don't know. Are they gonna start taking these older movies off the digital platforms? But this one wasn't really offensive, and it had Whitney Houston in it. That's what I don't. It boggles my mind. They're taking a movie with such an iconic singer and character. If I was a black community, I'd be like, "You stay the fuck away from Whitney."
Yeah,
you know, it's just
it's one thing, and I always think of it. It's people who that watched these movies, got into the movie industry, liked it, but said, I wanted this to be different. Now they're in charge. Yeah. They find a way to get the rights to do it so they can do the movie they wanted to see when they were younger.
Yeah.
I kind of look at it that way. I mean,
I think all those guys should be I call it the Robert Zemeckis rule. He has said, you'll do Back to the Future when I'm fucking dead.
Yeah.
And same idea. I mean, and the fifth story here. They're going to be doing a new Goonies, and they're going to be doing a new movie of Gremlins. And I wrote my thoughts here. I'm not sure if you can see them, John. Let me just see.
No, I can't see them. You cunts. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
I was thinking that's all the real notes that I need for that story.
Yeah, that's very straight to the fact.
Yeah,
I agree. Totally agree with you. There's not a lot more to say. Except for you cunts. Yeah.
Gremlins. I mean, I remember Gremlins too when they had that sexy gremlin with the lipstick on. That fucking shit won't play today, I bet. Can you imagine if they revisited that character?
Yeah.
That sexy gremlin with that. Well, I don't think that would play with today's crowd very well. So I'm guessing that'll be memory hold, and no one will ever talk about it again.
Oh fuck!
That first one, I remember watching that in the summertime, and it's become kind of a Christmas classic because it was released in the summer. I remember I went to see it and Ghostbusters came out about a couple of weeks within each other, and I remember watching it, and it was it was meant to be a horror film, but it's kind of a comedy. It really is. There's some tenseness in it, but those gremlins and Mogwai and so forth, to me, it's not a horror film.
No.
No. So, but the second one was more corporate, and actually, what's his name from Little Shop of Horrors was in it. Not Little Shop of Horrors. Rocky Horror Picture Show. What the hell's his name? Tim Curry. I thought Tim Curry was in the second one.
Fuck, I don't remember. That's a while ago. I haven't watched it since, so.
It wasn't as big of a hit. I remember at the time, when it came out in the theaters, a lot of people thought it had literally gone corporate, which it kind of had. Yeah. It took it out of a small town. But that first one was just a classic.
We got a guy, the little Chinese operator of the market, the shop there with all the smoke and everything?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got a guy at work. He's Chinese.
Yeah.
And I was joking with him the other day. He's like, Christ, 69, 70. He's still working there. But he's got long hair, the mustache, the chin beard. Wow. And I said, you know what, dude? I says, you look just like that guy. You should be running one of those shops where you open up the curtain, all the smoke comes in behind you in the big robe. He just starts laughing. He goes, yeah, I know. I look like one of those guys.
There was a famous stunt man. Do you know who I'm talking about? Mm. He had the long black hair, and he had the Fu Manchu. He was the stunt man of the 80s. He was in so many 80s films.
He had the original mullet before fucking Hulk Hogan.
Yes, he did. The Skullet. Yeah,
the Skullet, yeah.
The original Skullet. Yeah. And he was one of those characters, whenever you saw him in an 80s action film, you were like, you might as well stamp an action film on it because he was that criteria.
Yeah.
Just a stunt man in every scene that there was in action movies. Mm-hmm. I think Stallone and Schwarzenegger killed him like 20 times a piece. Yeah, but it was good. It was good. It was one of those guys you remember.
Yeah, that's just it. You don't remember his name, but you've seen him in almost every action movie. Yeah.
When you see him, you're thinking, God, this is a great action movie.
Yeah, this is going to be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do I got? Oh, just Minecraft. I'm really surprised how much money that made.
I'm glad. I don't know anything about it. It's not really my generation's video game, but those fucking kids should sit down. Just. You kids, behave yourselves. You heard that about cops getting called to theaters for kids throwing popcorn?
I watched it and I didn't understand what was going on. And I mean this with no offense, but I've seen movies where the difference between a black audience and a white audience, the black audience are right into the movie. They're just yelling stuff, doing stuff. They're right into the thing, right? Where white audience mostly spend their time sitting watching the movie. We're still enjoying it, but I've seen it with black audience. They're just having a fucking grand time watching the show. So,
well, I mean, they.
That's what I thought when I saw the thing about the kids do that. Maybe they're just having fun.
Well, they're just making a mess and shit.
Yeah.
It's funny when we were watching Perry Mason. There was a scene where he's sitting in the movie theater watching a movie, and this is like around the dirty 30s. The girl walks in, sits down beside her, and says, "I'll suck your cock for a quarter." And I'm telling you, it's fucking. Sue, I just looked over like Sue, like with inflation, that'd be pretty cheap at the time. But I was like, it was the last thing I expected to come out from that
Yeah.
scene was her sit down, suck your cock for a quarter. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What?
It's just a surprise sometimes to some of the
That
stuff
must be
they
the
put in.
VIP seating at the theater. Holy shit.
Yeah, that must be. It must be the president of the company, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Where were we?
we were just shooting the shit because basically it's about time. Almost an hour and a half.
I've
Minus
got
a pee break.
I've got two stories here. Joseph Quinn, and you may have heard this
I
quote.
know
and I'm
Joseph
thinking,
Quinn.
why would they let this fucking person say something like that?
It's not the guy that's playing...
Human Torch.
Oh, fuck. What did he say?
Joseph Quinn's Human Torch is bringing a sensitive touch to the role, and I'm quoting him here.
Okay.
I checked this is the quote. He was branded as this womanizing, devil-may-care guy. But is that sexy these days? I don't think so. This version of Johnny is going to be less callous with people's feelings. And I said, thank you very much. And I said, and then I said to him, I said, sir, do you remember where your claim to fame came from?
Yeah.
Stranger Things, where you were
Yeah.
a toxic guy with a
geek.
devil-may-care attitude with your leather and everything, and the fucking ladies ate it up, and that's why you're in this movie, sir.
Yeah.
And to say I'm going to be, I mean, I was like, I've never seen someone say, I'm going to take this gun and now I'm going to shoot myself in the foot. Everyone watch.
Yeah.
But
the thing is, if you go watch the ones with Captain America, Chris Evans, in them, I don't remember him being a womanizer. I just mean him being a bit of a young, pompous kid, right?
Yeah.
You can still play a young, pompous kid. But I don't know about this.
I read the comment section, and I swear to God, folks, I swear on my mother's memory, this was in the comment section as I'm reading down through it. And I quote, and I wish I had gotten the young lady's username.
Yeah.
I don't think my pussy can get any drier. Repeat, I don't think my pussy can get any drier.
Oh, wow.
And that is exactly what all the ladies who heard him say this was thinking. My goodness, you're a handsome man, and I loved your acting, but don't go in that direction because we'll make you pay for it by not going to see the movie.
Oh my God!
So, it's.
I love that a woman said. I hope it was a real woman that said that.
It was. When I saw the thing, I remember it was like a username, but it was. I never looked in their history, but I was sitting there saying to myself, yeah, I've known a few women like that where they're like, oh God, I don't want this kiss. I've been to the bars where, there'll be kiss asses coming up to the women. They're like, I don't want someone to kiss my ass. Like Bill, I don't want someone to kiss my ass. Just be yourself. If you're a little naughty, if you're a little raunchy, just be yourself. But this movie, Fantastic Four, I mean, Thunderbolts, which I'm going to go to. I'm making a list this week of all the movies I want to go see over the next year. But Thunderbolts is going to be a good litmus test.
Mm-hmm.
But Fantastic Four, if that comes in with Captain America numbers, that MCU is in trouble because that's supposed to be a jumping off point into Secret Wars, Doomsday, and all that.
Yeah.
And if it fumbles out of the gate, they're going to have to rejigger some shit. I hope it doesn't. And when he said that, I was like, don't do that. Just be Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny, for years in the comics, right up to, I'm reading the Fantastic Four now, Johnny is Johnny. You don't have to fuck with Johnny. Leave Johnny alone. So, anyway.
Well, they don't want to offend anybody.
Well, it was just a weird quote. It was like...
Comics hardly offend anybody. No one ever hears much about it. Movies, you do. Right?
Yeah, true enough.
Right? They don't want to waste their time because they're not going to get enough. It's not going to give them much attention.
Yeah.
By criticizing a comic book than they are criticizing a movie or an actor, right?
Yeah, it's just it sucks where we're at on that aspect anyway. But hopefully I'm going in with a very open mind. I want to be successful. I want Disney to get back to telling stories that are good and successful. But we'll see.
Yeah. So,
WrestleMania.
That's on tonight, is it?
It is on next weekend.
Oh.
WrestleMania is next weekend. It falls on, I want to say the 20th. Hold on. The 20th. Sorry. The 19th and 20th. It's a 2-night event. 7 matches the first night, 6 the next. It is not sold out as of yet. And that is something, because I can't remember the last time WrestleMania wasn't sold out, but they're kind of falling into the trap since the folks who own UFC have bought them out. They're kind of falling into the trap of the NBA and other major sports where the average Joe can't afford tickets to the events anymore. And I was curious, and I'm going online just saying what people were mostly complaining about. They were talking about the prices. So I said, what prices are we talking about? Funny you should ask, John.
I did.
It's not sold out. It's in Vegas. Which have you been to Vegas before?
Twice.
It's incredibly overpriced, and that's what they said. Being in Vegas, it's on the Easter weekend, which is probably going to hurt sales. So I went to StubHub, and the cheapest seats left are north of $900 a piece, and there's one seat on ringside on the floor, which is $6,849.
Fuck.
For a seat. That's fucking pricey.
Yeah. Hey,
So
if you want to be slightly political here, it's all the government's fault.
it's government.
Government. Everything's government's fault. Has nothing to do with
government's fault.
corporation greed companies. Nope, government's fault. Anyways, yeah, let's end it there. We'll end it blaming the government. We blame the government because we don't get enough listeners.
Yeah, we made it
God
to
damn.
130 though.
Yeah.
I
So-
thought we'd be shut down for sure.
That's why we did this, right? To put a show
some-
out and try it out.
There's some guy at Microsoft just hovering over the fucking button when it goes to 130. Shut him down. Shut him down.
No. All
He
right.
said pussy. Shut him down.
Oh, he said pussy again. Oh, I said pussy.
What? Shut him down. You got a 3 quota of pussy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that's it for this show. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. Thank you. Did you see that in one day or a couple days we got 400 and some odd downloads?
In one day?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I hadn't looked at it for one day. We get 400 downloads.
Just give me a sec. I'll check again. Because I go and I check just to see how well we're doing. Mostly because of the radio shows that I put up.
Well, that thing about the
So
stadium
on April 11th,
April
452.
what did they download? Sometimes they used to do that in the past where they download one each episode. They'd be like, I'm just going to save all these and listen.
It's either that or some other service now has come up. Like, I use or Podbean or Blueberry or some other service. They just started up. So they're getting so they're downloading all of the shows that they have them in their library. So when people go, they can go, download them there.
Slip the ads in.
Yeah,
and
slip
go
the
from
ads in. So, and then it.
Well, when I saw that thing of 50,000, when I hadn't looked at it for a while, and I was like 50,750, and I said, that's a stadium in Texas, and sure enough, a stadium in Texas, and I looked at the picture, I'm thinking, wow, that's like an average of like 250 downloads an episode.
Yeah.
Like I went back to my first show on doing this was episode 76. It was September 16th of 2016. So we're coming up on 10 years, and you're coming up on like 13 or 14 probably.
Fucking longer than that.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to put an ad in our show, though. Simply an ad in our show saying, if you like this content, there's more content on the Pulp Culture Cafe Radio.
We should start recording fake ads for the show. And
I know.
There.
I remember Dave from Big Kids Playground, him and Paul.
Yeah.
That's the project. And then Dave would do fake ads every once in a while.
It's not illegal. You can do it. You can't say sponsored by, but you can do fake ads all day long.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I've thought about that. To an effect,
I'd do them. That'd be fun. Except you'd have to be. How can I be naughty and not get sued over it? That'd be the whole thing. Just have fun with it.
Like a fake commercial, fake ad for something for you take a shit. Help you
Do
take a
old
shit.
timey. Old timey ads for products that don't exist anymore.
Yeah. Sick of it. But
Yeah.
okay, let's go. I gotta go
All
finish
right.
my dishes. So
We'll
thanks
need
for
a
tuning
steak.
in, folks. And tune into the rest of the shows. Soon. We're gonna take a small break so I can kind of readjust things on the show itself, so that everything's part of the show, not bonus episodes. So we just may take 2 weeks or something off so I can restart. But because it is summertime, and summertime people are doing summer stuff. So
Yeah, the snow's still on the ground, but it's warmer snow now.
yeah. Yeah, warmer snow. Okay,
Yeah.
Mr. Science. Just like my friend who wanted to scrape the snow before it melt. Not just
Melt.
once, but twice.
Nice.
Okay. All right, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Talk to you
Take
later.
care.
Bye. Let me just stop there.
Ladies and gentlemen, my mother thanks you, my father thanks you, my sister thanks you, and I thank you.
That's all, folks.
Thank you. Come again.
Why, you little?